Hey everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews, and we are here for our next installment. Our next installment of what, Ryan?
This is our top 100 games of all time. We have
All time.
curated this list from thousands of games.
Yeah. We even pulled from in the future. That's why it's all time.
Well, for now. Up to this point. You've really stressed me out now that we might have to do this again. This was really hard picking all out. All right, this is our second episode, I guess, in the series, you could call it. So we're going to do numbers 90 through 81. Man, what a fun, hard list to make.
Yes.
But let's just jump right into it. If you watched our previous video, you probably know that we assumed optimal settings, optimal player counts, optimal time, optimal, heads in the right space. So all that kind of stuff. So some games are really fun, but you can only play with certain people or certain times and all that kind of stuff. We assumed we have infinite time, infinite players, whatever we need to do to make the game work.
And infinite rest. We're well rested when we play the game as well.
Yes. All right, ladies first.
All right, my number 90 is Flashpoint Fire Rescue. We used to play this game all the time. This is a game that my brother owns, and I felt like this was a game, gosh, I've probably played this game like at least 30 times. Like, we just played it all the time. So you are a fireman, and you're going in to a burning building, and you are trying to rescue people. Unfortunately, two things are happening. Sometimes you don't know if a person is actually in that room. You get to the room you're supposed to be in, and it's not a person. Another thing that's happening is there's structural damage happening to the property as well. So your time is finite. You can cut through walls, but you're going to be damaging the structure of the property. Really like this one.
All right, so my number 90, this is a game that I did not play until recently. It just came out last year, and this is Flip 7. But oh my gosh, has this risen to the top of my play charts because everybody we play it with has loved it. I feel like we've sold like a half dozen copies of this just by playing with various groups of people. It's a push your luck style game, which I don't love, but it's mathematically really pure and satisfying. So the higher point cards are more likely to come out, but it's really tempting to get more of the high point cards, but then you're more likely to bust as well. So very fun, very silly card/party game. I cannot recommend this enough for large groups of people or people who aren't in the mood for a big long game, extended family, things like that. Love Flip 7.
All right, my number 89 is Cytosis, a cell biology board game, and this is a game that's all about the cytosis system in a cell. This is one of those games...
Really? That's crazy! I thought it was about, tanks and, I don't know, airplanes.
Tanks and airplanes?
Yeah.
Cell? You could have been like, I thought it was about prison.
That would have been so much better. You're so much better at that stuff than me.
But this is one of those games that I wish I would have had when I was in high school and learning about this stuff, because I very much struggled, and I felt like this game explained it more than any of my teachers did.
All right, so my number 89, this is a long one. This is Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game. Bethany talked about this last episode. In fact, there's a couple on my list that you talked about last time, which is kind of weird.
Nice.
But this is an LCG style game where you get a chance to get a box and you make your deck out of these factions, and then you battle it out. It plays really well 2-player, but it's even better 4-player. A lot of these kinds of LCG, CCG style games are usually 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
This has this fun rival systems where basically at the beginning of the game you have these 4 tokens. You shuffle them up and you assign players. So on player 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you show up these cards or these tiles, and you figure out who your rival is. So even though I get some points if I kill Bethany. But if Bethany's not my rival, I'm only going to get some points. But if over there, let's say Matt is my rival, I'm going to get even more points if I go after him. So we all have someone who's targeting us, and we all have someone that we're targeting. It's a very fun game. This Vampire the Masquerade RPG world. Really fun gameplay as well.
My number 88 is Nidavellir, which is really fun to say. Nidavellir. Anyway, this is a game that seems like it would be very simple, and then you play it and you're like, I got to think a lot more about what I'm doing in this game, and it's just a really fun one.
I think that my number 88 is going to be higher on your list one of these times, because I know you love this game. But this is Skyrocket's Festival of Fire. This is a full cooperative game where it's similar to kites. If you play kites, it's sand timers that you're trying to keep up in the air. The reason why I like this even more than kites is you have all these different modes of play. There's this whole huge deck of cards, and each one gives you like a new scenario. So you play it with one time when you're trying to do one particular thing. The next time you turn the system on its head, you do something kind of the opposite, while still keeping everything like the same small amount of components. It's crazy how this game can do so much with so few components, and every time you play it, you feel like you're playing a new system, a new game. But it's all about keeping these timers flipped and yelling at each other, or sometimes you can't yell at each other because that's what the card says.
Yeah.
Is you can't communicate or whatever. But you're like, flip red. I don't have a red card. I don't have a yellow. I'm gonna flip it. We lost or whatever. This is a high level, high energy, high excitement game.
All right, my number 87 is Project L, and this is like the definition of an abstract game. There's like no theme in it whatsoever.
L's, it's all about L's.
Yeah, sure. No. So in this game, you have tiles that you're drafting, and you need to fill those with like little squares that you're drafting, and they have different shapes in them. And so you're trying to put little pieces in those shapes to complete it in order to get your points. And it's a recessed board, so that's really nice when you're drafting these tiles. But all the pieces are different shapes, and you have to be able to draft those. And it's just like, it's one of those games when you're playing and you're just not talking. You're just like really concentrated. Like, did you take your turn yet? Because I know what I need to do. You're just waiting for everybody to go, and you're just like really concentrated. There's very little speaking in this game.
It's a trash talk, maybe.
Yeah, maybe not even that, because you're just so concentrated on what you can do.
All right, my number 87. This is Onitama. This is a 2-player abstract game. The closest way I can describe it is chess, right? It's a 5x5 grid. You're trying to either knock out your opponent's king or have your king sit on your opponent's throne. So those are the kind of the 2 win conditions. But you can't just move whatever piece you want to in whatever way you want to. Each turn, you are given a new tile, and you will give a tile away. That tile tells you how you can move. So you have 2 different options on your turn. Each tile, maybe you get to move forward 1 spot, or left 1 spot, or backwards, diagonal 1 spot, or whatever the case is. You choose one of your players, one of your pawns, and you do that action with it. It's full open information. You see what tiles your opponent has. You see which tiles you're about to send to your opponent too, so you kind of know, I better not go here because I'm about to send them the piece that allows them to then to get me in a future turn, or whatever the case is. It's very, very thinky, but this is one of the most clever, insane 2-player abstract games I've ever played. I play this on the phone all the time, so if I get a chance to play it in person, I love it even more. Super fun. This is a great game.
My number 86 is Unlock, and not a specific unlock, just the unlock system. So these are one of those escape room in a box. So you just get all these cards. You're flipping the cards over to try to figure out what the clues are, to see what other cards you can flip over. You are timed on this. You can totally lose on this, but you can also get clues and hints while you're playing as well. I just really like the unlock system. And with unlock, you're not destroying anything. So you can, after you play this game, you can pass it on to somebody else.
All right, my number 86. This is Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town.
Love that title.
It just
Love that
rolls
title.
off the tongue. Basically, this is a hidden movement style game where you yourself are also hidden movementing. You don't even know where you're going.
Yeah.
You have one person who's playing as the mayor, as the kind of a GM of the whole game, and they know everything. They're not really playing to win. They're just literally just kind of walking everybody else through where they show up. You're trying to, in the middle of this ghost town where there's actual ghosts running around, trying to find a pizza place, pick up a pizza, and then deliver it to the proper house who wants that kind of pizza. And you're going to get little bits of information like, okay, you're currently next to a ghost, or you're currently next to a fence, or you're currently next to a house, or whatever, and you have to kind of, mark that on your little board, and then if you run into a ghost, you have to fight it and do all this other stuff. If you find a pizza, then you have to find the right person to deliver it to. And this is so silly fun. This is a great family game to play around October. Hidden movement games are hard to do well, and this is such a silly, fun one. I love it. I love playing as the mayor. I don't like having our kids play as the mayor because it gets crazy, incorrect right out of the gate, and then you have all the wrong information, and it's like, of course, very important to have the right information.
Yes.
They make it into a whole separate meta game.
Yes, it's like a game within a game when they're the mayor. My number 85. Whoa, we're like breezing through this. My number 85 is My Little Scythe, and so I like this so much better than Scythe. I don't know why. I know that Scythe is this huge game. People love it. People play it all the time. And then when we played My Little Scythe, I was like, this is the one. I want this one. So it's that game where you kind of need to build up everything at the same time while you're doing it. But it has these absolutely adorable little characters that you're playing with. The board is a lot smaller than in Scythe. And it just takes a lot of the same concepts and kinds of extracts it, like boils it down to the pure essence of what that is. And you can play it in a kid's game. And I do want to say that we played this when our youngest was 5.
Yeah.
And she understood it. Like, not that she could play competitively, but she totally understood the rules and was able to go about it like that.
All right, so my number 85, this is The Crew, specifically The Quest for Planet 9. We love trick-taking games. I feel like trick-taking games are in our DNA here in the Midwest. And other places, obviously, too, but especially here in the Midwest. But this one was the first time I'd seen a bigger, more complicated, cooperative trick-taking game. It's so wild. You're given certain parameters, like you have this person win the second trick of the hand, or you can't have this person who can't win any tricks, or this person needs to win with this specific number, or whatever the case is. And I love how complicated it is. It's kind of a book that you go through and it tells you, okay, this is the setup for this particular round, all the way up, and it keeps more and more complicated. And you lose. You lose a lot, and that's okay. It's really, really fun to lose when it's these really, really hard parameters, because when you get that victory on those more complicated levels, it is oh so sweet, and everyone's cheering and high-fiving, like, oh, we pulled it off, let's go crazy. Yeah. I love The Crew.
My number 84 is Seas of Havoc, and this game is just absolutely hilarious. I just have a really fond memory of, I don't know, 3 years ago or something, playing this with Brian's dad, and it was just really hilarious. Like, you're going out getting stuff, and then you're attacking, you're traveling, and then you're attacking, and I don't know, I just had so much fun with this. It always, like, sticks in my mind as one of those memories that I have where it just, I don't know, it's just great.
All right, so my number 80, what is it we at? We're at 84.
Yeah.
Three Sisters. I don't like a lot of roll and writes. That's not my jam. But Three Sisters, I think, is one of the greatest roll and writes that's ever been made. It has a perfect system where everything kind of cascades into one another. Because you do this over here, this area is going to score. Because this area, you have enough over here. Now you just to do over this, you can trigger this special ability over this part of the board. Now the rain comes, it grows all of your plants, and now all your plants grow, and because you did that, certain other things are going to trigger, and you don't get a lot of actions in this game. All your action economy is very, very, very tight. But if you plan it out correctly, one small action can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
So mapping that out and kind of planning that out can be really, really fun. It's one of the more involved roll and writes that we've played.
That's probably why you like it.
And it's probably why I like it.
Yeah.
But I've played other more involved ones and didn't like them as much. This one just is kind of special. I just like this one a lot.
It's special because it's awesome. Okay, so my number, my number 83 is Gravwell, specifically second edition. This is just chaotic. You're trying to escape, but gravity is weird while you're moving around this board, and so you think you know what's going to happen when you play your cards, but then things move around and you end up going like different directions than you thought you were going to. I don't even try to win when I play this game. I'm just like, let's see what happens. Let's see how I move about. It's just crazy, like cosmic chaos fun as you're moving around. So if you like to have a lot of control in your games, this is definitely one you're going to want to avoid. But if you don't mind being like, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder where you're going to play. I wonder if I'm even going to move forward this turn, even though I'm trying. Yeah, you want to check this one out.
And there is like a more advanced version. We have some cards that can help you out.
Yeah.
But even still, it's like super chaotic and super fun.
Yeah.
All right, so 83, I'm going to go with Blink. Blink, this is a 2-player...
Blink.
So that's how fast the game takes. It's a blink of an eye. Really, it's a speed-based game for 2 players where you're just throwing cards down as fast as possible. You have symbols, colors, and quantities, and you're trying to match up to whatever's out there. So if there is 3 stars that are red, you can either play a red card on top of it, or a star card on top of it, or a card that has 3 of something on top of it. And you have to just keep on going as fast as you can, getting rid of your hand over and over again until you run out of cards. This is one that this is probably the game I've played the most of all time. This is the game I've played the most. I probably have several thousand of this game, because you don't just play it once. This is the kind of game that you play, and then you play again, and then you play again, and it takes a minute per round. Because of how fast it is.
You blink and it's over.
And our daughters, both of them, just love it. And especially our youngest one lately has been asking for it all the time because she knows that she wants to play games, but it's like the end of the night. She's like, well, what if we just play Blink?
Yeah.
Like, oh, fine, I guess we have time for a round of Blink. It's only a minute. And then, of course, that turns into 5 rounds of it or 10 rounds of it. And she's like, ha, I stayed up longer than I was supposed to. Suckered you into playing Blink with me a bunch of times. Fantastic, fun game.
My number 82 is Forbidden Island. This is personally my favorite in the Forbidden series, but this is also just kind of a placeholder for the Forbidden series. This is a cooperative game where you are trying to find all the treasures before the island disappears because it is flooding. So some of your tiles actually disappear while you're playing this game. You can lose that way because there could be a tile that you needed to get to and it's just gone. You're just like gonna lose this game forever. But I like the Forbidden system. I like how they use tiles in creative ways and how that you can rearrange them and how you can move them and everything that happens with that Forbidden Island.
My number 82, this is Spirit Island. Spirit Island.
We both have islands.
That's so cute. It's same. This is also a cooperative game. But in this game, basically, you are playing kind of as the people, or the island itself, and you are fighting off people who are trying to come to your islands. And this is the kind of game that you can really, really get into. You really, really get involved in. There's tons and tons of expansions, a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different difficulty levels that you can play as. The app is really, really strong for this. There's just a really big community around this. I am on the surface level. I've only played this a handful of times, but every time I've played it, I have loved it. But you can get really deep down the rabbit hole in this one, and everyone knows, well, okay, that character versus this particular bad guy is going to be this crazy mix-up, and it's not going to work, but let's try it anyways. It's going to be a level difficulty of 9 or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what any of that means, but let's go for it. You just tell me what to do. But yeah, this is one that there's tons of different knobs that you can turn and twist to make it easier or harder, more complex, more fun, whatever the case is. What a cool system and what a cool game. Basically kind of a tower defense almost idea behind it, is you're trying to repel people coming to your islands.
All right, my number 81, the last one for me for this section is Codenames Duet. I think Codenames Duet, it's a 2-player game. They made Codenames, they made it 2-player, and it is so difficult. Just as difficult as Codenames, but even like kind of more so, but I like that. And there's a campaign aspect of this where you're traveling around to different places, and depending on where you are, you can only give so many clues or you can only lose so many times. It just kind of changes the variability of it. And the thing that's really fun is, so you have the card like you do in normal Codenames, and this person sees this and this person sees that, and you each share one spy. There's 3 X's. You each have 3 spies, and one of them is the same and the other ones aren't. And you're like really trying very hard to get people to win, but you're gonna lose all the time. At least Ryan and I lose all the time.
We think very differently.
Yes.
And which makes us great, except for in this kind of game.
Yes. For other setting, it's like, yeah, we're definitely filling in the gaps in other people's thought processes. But when we're playing games like this where we need to think the same, the game just beats us all the time.
All right, so my last one for today, this is going to be Race to the Raft. Isle of Cats, very big tile laying game, very, very popular. I have played it quite a bit. I'm a little bit burnt out on it, but Race for the Raft gives me a similar idea, but I like it even more. It's a cooperative game, but the island itself is burning, right? It is burning. On one side, you have all these different colored cats. On the other side, you have a raft, and the raft has different colors on it as well. And you are trying to build a path matching the right terrain and the right colors for each cat to travel on in order to get to the raft. But every turn, you're going to be also adding fire as well. So it's kind of closing in around you as you're trying to escape.
And the stupid cats will only travel on their colors. Idiots.
Right. Just walk over there. It's fine. It's fine. But they don't want to. Their cats are persnickety like that. So you have to kind of build out this path for all these different cats. And sometimes a tile, you can lay over top of tiles, and so you kind of cover up the things you've already laid. So once you've gotten one cat out of the way, you kind of overlay it to have another cat use that same area, but with a new card over top of it. This is a really, really cool system. And there's a scenario book that you go through, and it gets more and more interesting and more complex, and more things that you can do on your turns to try to save these cats. But I like this so much. It's in that world of Isle of Cats, but I like this so much more than Isle of Cats. And I don't hear it talked about a lot. Play Race to the Rat, people. It's really fun.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching, but we want to hear from you. What games on our list would be on your top 100 list? What games do you think we're missing on this lower end of the top 100 list? We want to hear from you. Make sure to leave a comment below.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. You guys, thanks for watching our shenanigans. As always, we appreciate it. Over here, if you follow this link, you're going to find a playlist we've hand-selected, handcrafted, just for you, because you watched this video.
And if you check over here, this is a video that YouTube thinks you might like. So you can check that out if you want as well.
All right, we appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.